Hello, everyone. Nat 1995 here in the video game fanfic plot with a new story for you all. It is called A Spark of Life. And remember, I do not own this story and I give full credit to its author, that is Kiera27 on fanfiction.net, and this a Harry Potter crossover with Transformers. Now on to the story.
Bringing you higher. When my eyes opened, it was to the sight of Sirius with the most amused expression on his face, the kind that usually followed a successful prank on Snape. I think that the answer to the question of whether or not magic can supply power is a resounding yes. The giggle that followed was matched by a couple of soldiers. I shook my head as I looked to where Barricade was, to find him looking, for lack of a better word, high as a kite. His eyes were shining brightly and he looked a second away from joining the giggling. That was a rush. How much did you send over? I could feel the blush growing as everyone turned to look at me with the same interested look. Remus and Ips both looked like they were ready to dig out a notebook and pen in a Hermione-like fashion before shaking me down for information. I tried to just pull a tiny little bit away from my core so that it wouldn't hurt you if something went wrong. Barricade shook his head ruefully and leaned back on his arms. If that was just a tiny bit, then you might be able to keep all the bots alive, fed and happy for a long time. Might not want to let anyone else know about that though. The look he gave the soldiers reminded everyone that he was a Decepticon and would have no problem squishing them. One of the soldiers that I could not remember the name of for the life of me looked quite put out. None of us are going to be putting anything to do with Harry in our reports. The kid is about sweet enough to give us diabetes, and he has more security clearances in his file than anyone I've ever met. I'm pretty sure that if any one of us tried to hurt him, we would disappear off the face of the earth if Ips didn't get to us first. The glare on Ips' face seemed to scream that he would be the one that they would have to worry about. We were all assigned to assist the Autobots in maintaining the peace and eliminating the Decepticon threat. Until such a time as those orders change, we are under no obligation to inform the superiors of anything that does not directly affect that goal, and that's a pretty loose definition to work with. Cybertronian food doesn't really fit as far as I'm concerned. Do you think that there's any way to store magic so it can be used later, kind of like a battery? My question brought a gleam to Remus' eyes that sent a shiver down my spine. How is Barricade doing with the little spark? Megatron was beginning to go just the slightest bit stir-crazy, waiting for his infiltration specialist to integrate himself with the new little allspark. It was much better than being stuck in a glacier or a lab, but he was built for action, not for the long wait for information. It was what had led him to his communications officer. If anyone would be able to keep tabs on the Autobots and the little spark, it would be Soundwave. The little spark has begun to question why the war started and how to supply us with what we need. Soundwave found the little spark fascinating and felt the urge to house the small form in his cassette chambers for protection. His programming wanted him to protect the smaller form, despite the fact that that small form housed the power of his creator. He decided to see if his magic could supply a Cybertronian with the necessary energy to continue life without energon. He successful. Megatron could sense the increase of energy that caused his eyes to glow brighter in the large warehouse that Soundwave had claimed as his own. How successful? And do the Autobots know? Soundwave shifted as the multiple communication lines he was connected to quivered slightly with Megatron's energy output. Barricade was almost put into overdrive mode from what the little spark described as a tiny bit of energy. The human soldiers and two other humans are the only other ones beside Barricade that witnessed the event. The Autobots will no doubt find out at some point or another. When Barricade is alone, you will transmit the order to move our plans along. I will not see the little spark locked up in a lab like the original allspark.
Well, that's the ending of that chapter. I do hope you enjoy this video. If you like to see more, remember to hit that like button, subscribe to this channel and leave a comment down below. Until next time.